Hello, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. I've been a little bit under the weather. I had some vertigo. I'll maybe make a video about that later on. It seems to be subsiding now to the point to where I am functional. I think I'm functional, anyways. So, uh, what I am going to, I would like to speak on today. It's essentially uh, that on the theme that I like to take is election, not voting elections, but personal elections that our Constitution, the United States Constitution, allows us to make. Now, I would like to start this real quick with it has been. Let's start with a little bit of history. About 200 years of tradition in the United States where we have differentiated ourselves from others because of democracy, not because of religious tendencies. Let's get this straight, because I hear a lot of politicians claiming that, oh well, it's because we are a Christian nation. It's like, no, there's nothing further from the truth. We as a nation decided consistently to defend the freedom to choose. Now, this is not about religious concepts. This is about how America has grown by choosing. We chose to be free from England, and we did it. It cost us a war, a lot of dead people. No matter, we're free from England. We chose to expand our land by taking American natives' land, and we did it. It didn't matter if it cost a lot of their lives or our lives or a lot of children's lives. No, we did it. We chose to expand all the way to California, take Mexico's land. It cost us another war, a lot of dead people. No matter. We did it. Why? Because it was our choice. Now, it is kind of hypocritical when nowadays some American politicians want to apply the Bible to cement their right to rule over other Americans' decisions. Because, I mean, they can't come out and kill us. I mean, they can, but they would really, really look bad in the eyes of the world, you know. But the fact is, this is not about faith, you know. Our democracy, our country, is not about faith. It was not founded on God. It was not founded on Christianity. It was everything far from it. It was founded on violence and the unfettered desire to get away with our decisions no matter what. It was our ability to elect. Now, I have a few questions. Of course, I said it's not about faith, it's not about God. This more, what's happening right now is a lot of politicians are, if you're religious, you would acknowledge that they're taking the Lord's name in vain because they are using the name of God to control people's choices, specifically Christians, because this nation is more like 65-70% Christians, and they all go along with it. They're all like, oh yeah, you know, this president is going to fix our world. And it's like, no, man, America has never looked to God to fix whatever we want. We just take it because we are the most violent, the strongest, and we take what we want and we make our own decisions. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. But it's not about God. It has never been about God. I challenge politicians. If you really want to live the Bible according to Christianity, then start by giving the land back to Mexico, give the land back to the Indians, and repair all the abuse perpetrated amongst blacks and minorities. Oh, and also stop the unfettered use of guns, which is costing a lot of children's lives. No? Oh, oh, well, I thought you were about the Christ, you know, because Jesus was about sacrificing yourself for others, not about sacrificing others for you. So, if we're going to take this into the religious context, we're going to have to say that America is the Antichrist. And nobody's going to change that. Okay? We're just going to make it better. But, let's understand, that we're not in the religious realm. Okay? We're in the realm, we're speaking in realms of who has more power, who can get more money, who can get more properties. That's what we deal in. And for politicians to all of a sudden say, "Oh, Trump's gonna fix this," or Biden, or anybody, I don't care. Even when we had the Kennedy Catholic, he was a Catholic president. Nobody's gonna change this, because we have determined this country is not going to run according to religion, and this is in the Constitution. I hate it when politicians try to change this, and then people are like, "Oh yeah, Christianity." No. We're further from Christian. If you really want to be Christian, then I already told you, there are challenges for becoming Christian that are more under your control than trying to control other people's lives. Now, in reality, let's be honest, it is only fascists and would-be tyrants that have hijacked the Bible to use it as a motivator for violence and control of others. They have promoted the Bible as a lever to take away the ability from Americans to make their own choices. Choices that, if you look in the Bible, it's a God-given right. I have freedom to make my choices. Now, these people that claim to follow the Bible and all this thing, are the same people who promote child marriage and child labor. Why? Because they're not concerned about children. They are concerned about getting more labor. This is what it is. This was what slavery was about, creating more labor. Right now, there are a lot of companies that have said, "Hey, I'm finding it hard to find people to work for me." Why? Number one, you're not paying them enough to accomplish the American dream, which is what work is supposed to do. And number two, there's a lot of work. So workers can choose. And guess what? If you don't give them good salaries, good conditions, they're not going to go work for you. They're going to work for somebody else. Now, these same people who are so worried about child marriage, child labor, all of a sudden, and think about this, think about our history. In history, children have been told to be quiet, be silent. Don't speak unless you're spoken to. You're not really necessary unless we need you. But now, all of a sudden, they're all concerned about fetuses. A fetus is a person. Now, I know the history of this. And the history of this is not as nice as you would like to believe. But let me prove to you how superficial and lacking morality this intention to take away the right to choose from women, how immoral it actually is. Now, let's take a moment for all those that are ready to burn me at the stake and whatnot. Let's think about human exceptionalism. That's the thought that proposes that humans are better than animals because we have a soul, a human soul, capable of making moral choices, which lead us closer or further from some kind of heaven or hell. All right? Now, let's take a pause here. Now that we took a pause, let's think. We're talking about human exceptionalism. The first and most important factor for human exceptionalism is the proof of the soul. In over 200 years and 2,000 years, 2,000 years of Christianity, no one has found proof of a human soul. We have come to understand that a person's ability to solve complex problems, as well as the ability to use very granular language to communicate these problems and its solutions to others, is what actually makes the human race superior over other species of animals. It is indeed these qualities which show possibility of evidence of a human soul. Then, if we agree with this, it is then evident that before these capabilities are present, either the soul is not present or the soul is not connected to the body. Either one of those solutions renders a body without a soul. The soul either develops or connects later on in life to the body, once the body is able to function on its own without the need of assistance from the mother. This concept would be acceptable for many people who lead our lives by logic and by rationale, not just by a book that was written over 5,000, 6,000 years ago, when people didn't even know that the earth was not the center of the universe. All right, let's remember the Bible has a lot of errors and mistakes in its understanding because it was written before men understood what we understood right now. And it wasn't written by God because he would have known better than to tell some fool to, hey, right in there that the earth is the center of the earth. No. Amongst other things. Now, the only ones that now we have to compare with are the zealots. Who are the zealots? Well, in the old times, there used to be very radical Jewish people who wanted to bring the kingdom of God by force, blah, blah, blah. In this case, I consider zealots Christians who have been groomed, and I do use the word groomed, and manipulated by religious fascists whose only objective is to take away America's right to choose and to make themselves the center of that choice. In other words, these religious, and there are bishops, there are priests, there are preachers, there are all sorts of religious people who have really no desire to follow the life of Jesus Christ, but they want to benefit from the possibility that people will fear the retribution of Christ and come to them for all sorts of decisions. They want to be relevant in political life so they can be powerful. And we've done this before. We've given the church, the Catholic Church, and Christianity power, and that has never turned out good because they end up persecuting people that are innocent just because they do not bow to their power. However, let's go back to soul arguments. Christians used to argue the existence of limbo. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that. That was the place where if a child did not get baptized, because see, according to the church or to Christianity back then, if a child did not get baptized, well, he didn't have any good deeds, he didn't have any bad deeds, so where would he go? He couldn't go to heaven because he hadn't earned it, and he couldn't go to hell because he hadn't earned it either. So he said, let's put him in limbo. And this this was eventually became to be clearly understood as delusional as Zeus having a place called Olympus. And so it also killed the idea that God didn't know what to do with these souls. And the biggest problem was that the church did not know what God did with those souls. In other words, that idea of limbo made evident that, hey, there are things that God does that you have no idea. And they could not have that, because it was just too much. So this thing was wiped away because it sounded delusional, So eventually, this is the result of making assertions about items that we have no way of proving one way or another. Maybe God does do that. I don't know. I haven't talked to him, But let's go back to the argument of the soul. It's very interesting. The same people who now argue the existence of a soul in a fetus used to argue that black people were 3/5 of a person. What? It's like, what? Do they only have 3/5 of a soul? Or, how do they come up with this conclusion? It's just human desires, It would seem to me, or it is pretty evident to me, that those same people that came up with that logic of 3/5 of a person are the same people who keep bringing up morality and religion without caring how the negative impact their beliefs being forced on others have on those people. These are the people we need to ignore, because at the bottom of their argument, at the bottom of their religious, God-fearing argument is, I want to take away your right to choose about X in your life because it inconveniences me. Either it shortens my labor or it makes it more probable that I'll lose the next election. It's always about something that inconveniences them. Never is it a true religious intention. Let's look at the logic of this. 1 million abortions do not have as deep an impact in a school as 20 dead children. Yet it seems that to these people, dead children incite nothing more than thoughts and prayers. But an abortion clinic, we need to close it, we need to bomb it, we need to kill the people inside there. You see how hypocritical that really is? It's like, what? You're not going to do anything for dead children? Oh, but an abortion clinic, oh yeah, we got to stop that. What the hell is wrong with you? It is at the end of the day a false argument to take away other people's right to choose in the name of God. It is at the end of the day an attempt to take away the right to choose, which even in the Bible is a God-given right. This shows this is not a religious but rather a fascist argument to remove Americans' right to choose in anything and everything. Do not be fooled. The same people who claim to be right to life hang on to the Second Amendment if it costs thousands of children's lives, because it is not about God, it is not about religion, it's about taking the choices from others, turning USA into a country that is easy to govern. If they can take away the right to choose from women, imagine what they can do about your guns. And they'll do it. It's just, women are just the first step. First they take away the rights of women, you'll be next. Anyways, if you like this content, press like, subscribe, whatever, and I'll see you on the next video that hopefully I will go ahead and record.